you are asked to make u the subject of the formula. The formula as it stands is E equals m over 2g multiplying v squared minus u squared. E here originally from the question is the subject of the formula, but you are asked now to make u the subject of the formula. What we need to do is to carry out the mathematical operations that are necessary to make u the subject of this formula. Whenever you are dealing with a case of this nature, this being a fraction will be the first concern here, how to get rid of the denominator of this fraction. So the first thing you have to do here, writing the equation, here the equation out, which is m over 2g multiplying v squared minus u squared. What you have to do first is to find a way to get rid of this denominator. How do you do that? You multiply both sides. You multiply both sides by 2g. So we must get rid of everything associated with u squared here. So the first one here is to first get rid of this denominator of the fraction here. So if you multiply both sides by 2g, we're going to have 2g times e here equals m over 2g into v squared minus u squared times 2g. So this 2g takes care of this 2g here. And if we multiply this, we're going to have 2ge because 2g times e is 2ge equals m into v squared minus u squared. If we open up this bracket, m here will multiply each term here. So you have 2ge equals m times v squared will give you mv squared minus m times u squared will give you mu squared. Remember, we are making u the subject of the formula. So everything associated with u, we'll find a way to get rid of it. The first we have to get rid of is this mv squared. This is plus mv squared. So because it's plus mv squared, we'll subtract it from both sides of the equation. So this becomes, you subtract mv squared from both sides of the equation. Moving here, we will have 2ge minus mv squared equals mv squared minus mu squared minus mv squared. You can see I have subtracted it here and I've also subtracted it here. So this takes care of this. I'll have 2ge minus mv squared equals, what I have left here is now minus mu squared. I'll have minus mv squared equals minus mu squared. Remember, this is my focus here. So the next thing you have to do is, if I move this here, I'll move everything down this way. That is, I want to move, because of this negative sign here, I will move minus mv squared to the right hand side, to the left hand side. If I move it to the left hand side, what I will have here is 2ge minus mv squared. If I move it, this minus becomes plus mu squared equals 0. Now, it therefore means that I will have to remove all of this to the right hand side so that I can have this standing. So I have mu squared equals, remember this is plus 2ge minus mv squared. When this crosses the sign of equality to the right hand side, it becomes negative. This negative mv squared, when it crosses the sign of equality, it becomes positive mv squared. That is the rule. They are crossing over to this way now. So this becomes minus 2ge plus mv squared. I can also be right to represent it like, this is minus 2ge plus mv squared. I can choose to write this first. This is positive and this is negative, which is now mv squared minus 2ge M is still associated with u squared. I need to get rid of it. How do I do that? It's multiplying u squared. So I will divide both sides by this m. So I will divide both sides of the equation both sides of the equation by n. So I have mu squared over m equals mv squared minus 2ge over n. Now this n, we divide this out. I have what? U squared equals mv squared minus 2ge over n. I am not looking for u squared, but I want to get u because the question says I should make u the subject of the formula, but this is u squared. How do I get u? To get u, if you take the square root of a square, you will get, if you take the square root of the square of a number, you will get the number. So I will take square root on both sides. You take square root of both sides. So if you take square root of both sides, this will be square root of u squared. Square root of u squared equals square root mv squared minus 2ge over n. If you take the square root of u squared, it will give you u equals square root mv squared minus 2ge over n. As it stands, we have made u the subject of this formula. So this is what is required.